The Android Saga is often regarded as one of the best arcs in the Dragon Ball franchise, and it's no surprise that it also happens to feature some of the most watched versus battles on our channel. Among the top performers is our breakout of Super Saiyan 2 Goku vs Cell, a matchup that's long fascinated the fans. The original fight between Goku and Cell was already a classic, but since Goku didn't have access to Super Saiyan 2 at the time, it's always raised an interesting question. What if he did? Would the outcome have changed? If that's a debate you're curious about, I highly recommend checking out that video. This time, we're exploring a similar what if, one that's been around for quite a while. Back in the day when Goku used Super Kaioken in his fight against Pikkon, it sparked plenty of discussion. Since no specific time frame was ever given between the fight at the end of the Cell games, many fans started wondering, could Goku have used Super Kaioken against Cell but chose not to? That's the same matchup we're diving into today. We'll break this down into two scenarios. Scenario 1 will reflect what we saw in the anime, Goku using Super Kaio-Ken for a very limited burst, just like he did against Pikkon, but it would be the Cell Games version of Goku. Scenario 2 assumes that Goku during his fight with Pikkon is the one who takes on Cell directly, using the Super Kaio-Ken technique as part of his normal arsenal. We'll begin by analyzing Goku's chances against Perfect Cell, and then we'll move on to how he might fare against Super Perfect Cell later in the video. If you enjoy conversations like this and want to take part in deeper Dragon Ball discussions, I highly encourage you to join the Dragon Ball HQ Discord server, link below in the description. We'll be diving into this topic and more over there. Now, without further delay, let's begin. One of the first things we need to establish before diving into Goku using Kaioken is how he compares to Perfect Cell, under normal conditions without any enhancements. Prior to their actual fight in the Cell games, Goku reveals 50% of his power on Kami's lookout when Korin senses it. He concludes that Goku won't be able to defeat Perfect Cell. While Goku hadn't shown his full strength, Korin's statement suggests that even Goku's complete power wouldn't close the gap. At this point, Korin had already felt the energy from both Trunks' fight with Cell and Cell's current output at the games. Later, when Goku visits Cell directly, he admits that he didn't expect Cell to become so powerful and adds that he can't predict how much stronger Cell might become, concluding that he doesn't believe he can win. That admission plays out clearly in their fight when it becomes obvious that while Goku is going all out, Cell isn't even trying. So right off the bat, it's established that Master Super Saiyan Goku is noticeably inferior to Perfect Cell, and the gap is significant. It's not until Gohan becomes a Super Saiyan 2 that Cell is truly focused to get things serious. The sheer jump in Gohan's power surprises even the Z-Fighter, despite the fact that Gohan still wasn't using his full strength. That kind of scaling paints a clear power hierarchy. Goku is at the bottom, Super Saiyan Gohan is above him, Perfect Cell sits a little bit higher, and Super Saiyan 2 Gohan surpasses them all. If Goku were to try to close this gap using Super Kaioken, the multiplier would have to be significant, more than 2 times to even begin to approach Cell's level. And it's important to remember, just because Gohan surpassed Cell with his Super Saiyan 2 transformation doesn't mean Goku would get the same result using Kaioken. That's because Gohan was already significantly stronger than Goku before transforming. So logically speaking, Goku would need a much larger boost to catch up, let alone surpass Cell. Even after Super Saiyan 2 Gohan was revealed, Perfect Cell was still considered an overwhelming threat. That's how far ahead of Goku he truly was. And it's worth pointing out that Kaioken on his own is not the same as using Kaioken times 2, which is a 2 times multiplier. It's more of a shorthand. So even if Goku could momentarily use Kaioken, his output wouldn't reach Super Saiyan 2 levels. Additionally, if the Kaioken were used like it was in the fight against Pikkon in a short burst, it wouldn't be enough to do meaningful damage. He might get a good hit in, but not the kind of attack needed to completely destroy Cell, which is exactly what you need to win that fight. Otherwise, Cell would regenerate and come back stronger thanks to his Saiyan biology. It's also important to touch on the misconception around Goku's Warp Kamehameha, which many fans think should have finished Cell. That only applies to the earlier version of Cell from before Toriyama retconned his regeneration. Originally, Cell needed his head intact to survive, just like Piccolo, but it was later clarified that he could regenerate from a single cell, so long as that cell contains his nucleus. So even if Goku reached Perfect Cell level or slightly surpassed it, it's still not enough. You have to completely erase Cell or destroy his nucleus to win. And unfortunately, a basic Kaioken boost wouldn't offer the firepower that's needed, especially when considering the toll it takes on Goku's body. Now, if Goku were to push Kaioken higher, say Kaioken times 3 like he did during the Saiyan Saga, then the odds would improve. At that level, it becomes more plausible for him to damage Cell enough to make a difference. The higher the multiplier, the more viable the win condition becomes, but the risk to Goku's body also skyrockets as well. Kaioken times 10 or higher would most likely guarantee a win, assuming Goku goes all in and lands a decisive blow quickly, but it would certainly be a draw, due to the strain and possibly even fatal conditions. Anything below that is difficult to call. The higher the multiplier, the better the odds, but if we're talking about basic Kaioken, in that case, Goku stands no real chance against even Perfect Cell, and absolutely no chance at all against Super Perfect Cell. However, when talking about Super Kaioken Goku that fought against Pikkon, it's a completely different story. After Goku's death during the Cell arc, the anime-exclusive Otherworld Saga opens up a fascinating detour into Dragon Ball's lore, a realm where the usual rules of strength progression get dramatically shaken up. Following his sacrifice, Goku is recruited by Kais to help quell chaos brewing in the afterlife alongside a mysterious fighter from the West Galaxy named Pikkon. Their first mission takes them through extraordinary territories of the cosmos, possibly regions on the scale of an entire celestial realm. As they make their way to Hell to confront a wave of resurrected villains, among them are familiar faces. As they make their way to Hell to confront a wave of resurrected villains, among them are several faces that are familiar. Frieza, King Cold, the Ginyu Force, and the resurrection version of Cell after his self-destruction. What's particularly noteworthy is how easily Goku, without tapping into any transformations, eradicates the Ginyu Force. For whatever reason, this impresses even Frieza, and if their strength had been boosted in the afterlife, it makes Goku's dominance in base form even more significant. But the real standout is Pikkon. Wearing weighted gear, he neutralizes Super Perfect Cell in a single blitz, then immediately turns to dismantle both King Cold and Frieza without hesitation. There's no struggle, just overwhelming power. Even if one assumes Cell was caught by surprise, the sheer feat of rendering him unconscious in one blow remains a strong testament to Pikkon's tier. It's made even clearer when considering that Cell's power is confirmed in guidebooks to be as immense as ever. This isn't a nerfed version of the villain, but rather his most dangerous form. Now, with that said, there's a distinctive moment that really puts the situation into perspective. Goku watches a bout between Pikkon and Olibu, a seasoned warrior said to have honed his skills over thousands of years, and he admits he can't even follow their movements. This is the same Goku who had no trouble tracking Gohan's battle against Cell. That contrast speaks volumes. It implies that the level of speed and finesse on display far eclipses anything Goku had witnessed before. Even more astonishing is how quickly Goku adjusts. Not long after that exchange, he's seen matching Pikkon's pace without any transformations, suggesting he's undergone a significant leap in power just from being immersed in this new realm of high-stakes combat. Pikkon himself notes Goku's growth, which validates Goku had already evolved beyond his Cell game self in a relatively short span, even before utilizing Super Saiyan regularly. When the final showdown arrives, Goku finally faces Pikkon. The matchup becomes a real benchmark for how much Goku has progressed. In his base form, Goku keeps up with the same Pikkon who is seemingly light years ahead. Then in a classic reveal, Pikkon discards his weighted garments, his speed and power spike dramatically, and even Goku's full power Super Saiyan struggles to contain him. Eventually, Goku breaks out a special technique that catches many by surprise. It's Super Kaio-Ken, a temporary fusion of Super Saiyan with the Kaioken technique, something Goku previously deemed impossible due to the strain it puts on the body. But in the afterlife, where the limitations of the physical form are lifted, Goku manages to wield it briefly against Pikkon in a last-ditch effort. This version of Goku, who not only surpasses Cell game's iteration, but can fight at Kaioken enhanced Super Saiyan levels, would annihilate Cell without question. The idea that Super Perfect Cell, once an existential threat, could be felled in a single hit by a weighted Pikkon, and that Goku himself could contend with and push back that same fighter, makes the gap between Cell and the Otherworld Goku staggeringly clear. In short, if you're still trying to compare the Cell game's power scale to the Otherworld chapter, it's not even a close fight anymore. The Goku of this arc has already outgrown Cell entirely, and that's even before he uses Super Saiyan or Kaioken, just in his base form. Making the Super Kaioken version of Goku that fought Pikkon easily destroys Cell, and it's not even close.